Thank you so much, Esther, and thanks to all of you for coming out for what is an event that I know we all have been looking forward to, and I can't think of a better place to have Senator Warren speak about her book than Sixth I. As Esther said, we're all enjoying celebrating your 10th anniversary. What a run. It's amazing. This has become such a cultural landmark in Washington. We are proud to have been partners with Sixth I for the last 7 years, and we hope for many, many more. And we really enjoy putting on these kinds of events together. As Esther said, we really do share a mission of providing a forum for discourse, a marketplace for ideas, and a place where people can gather and join each other in thinking about the seminal issues of the day. And just for those of you, I think most of you, how many of you, just to follow in Esther's tracks here, have been to our store up on Connecticut Avenue? Most of you have, so you know, and those of you who haven't, those of you who have been know that we have about 475 author events in the store each year, pretty much one a day and often 2 or 3 a day, so check out our calendar and you can surely find something that you're interested in, and we hope we'll see you up on Upper Connecticut Avenue. It is such an honor and such a pleasure to host Senator Elizabeth Warren. She's here tonight, as you know, to discuss her new book, A Fighting Chance. I just have to mention that we learned just a little while ago, actually, that the book is already going to make the New York Times bestseller list on May 11th. Congratulations. I should point out the proximity of that date to mothers in the world. And if you're looking for that perfect Mother's Day gift, it just might be a nice thing to be able to say, and it's on the New York Times bestseller list, so think about it. If you haven't bought it already, I'm sure there are mothers out there who still will need it. I just want to start by saying, as we all know, every so often a new face emerges in the political arena and instantly captures the public's imagination. Usually the person has a compelling life story, a parent or parents who worked hard to overcome hardship and provide for their children, the opportunity to gain an education, maybe go on to law school, a personal identification with the struggles of working people, a commitment to public advocacy, maybe a career as a law professor, and then an improbable and hard-fought election to the United States Senate, and perhaps even a primetime speech at the Democratic Party convention. But tonight, we're not here to talk about Barack Obama. Although there are some obvious similarities. But with Senator Warren's election in 2012 as the first woman U.S. Senator from Massachusetts, she quickly became recognized as an exciting, fresh face on the political scene. She's captivated the public with a clear voice, a powerful message, and a track record of taking on an entrenched system that she believes is rigged against hardworking people like her own family, those, in her words, who live on the ragged edge of the middle class. It has been her life's work, as the title of her book suggests, to give hardworking Americans a fighting chance. What you may not know about Senator Warren is that in addition to her championing of bankruptcy reform as a lawyer and consumer advocate and taking on the big banks, and her teaching at, most recently, Harvard Law School, she's also a prolific writer. I just found out this is her 10th book. She's written quite a few scholarly books. She's written several books with her daughter. And this book, by the way, she wrote by herself, I would say with an assist from your daughter, but really she wrote it by herself, which is quite an accomplishment. It's, as you know, if you've read it already, part memoir and part, I would say, political manifesto, maybe a little too strong, but maybe political proclamation. And the most important thing that I can tell you about it is that it is really, really good. It is a really, really good book. She's a great storyteller. She's fearless. She has opinions. She's not afraid to name names. I was talking to a friend of mine who has advised Senator Warren at various points, and she said to me, she's better informed on the issues that matter to her, like the power of big banks, than the bankers themselves. She just doesn't buy their mumbo-jumbo. So I find all of that, as I'm sure all of you do, indeed refreshing and rare in a politician. So it is truly a pleasure. Keep up the good fight. Thank you for being here, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say about your book. Please join me in welcoming Senator Warren.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you. Oh! Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, sit down. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the nice introduction, Lissa, Esther. It's wonderful to be here at Sixth I. You can always tell a teacher I will be calling on people in the back row. Pay attention. There may be a quiz at any point during this reading. But I love being back. God, I got to say this, with a live audience. I miss it. Senate is fine, but not like this. So it's nice to have human beings on the other side, okay, who are doing this. So okay, I got to behave myself here. Well, not too much, but a little bit. Okay, so I thought what I'd do tonight is I would tell a little story about the book, kind of read from the book, tell you a little bit about it, and then save as much time as we can just for questions and answers so I can talk about whatever you all want to talk about. I start this book with my own story. I was the late-in-life baby. My mother always called me a surprise. I was about 30 before I figured out what that meant. I have 3 much older brothers. By the time this story starts in the early 1960s, all 3 of my brothers are off in the military. My daddy was selling carpeting, and I was about 12 years old when he had a heart attack. And, like a lot of families, a pretty tough time for us. There was a long period when he wasn't working. The bills piled up. We lost the family station wagon, and we had our toes right on the edge of about to lose our house. My mother was a stay-at-home mom who was 50 years old the day she pulled her best dress out of the closet, put it on, and put on her high heels and her lipstick, and walked over to the Sears to apply for a minimum wage job. That minimum wage job was enough to save our home and our family, because in the 1960s, a minimum wage job was enough to keep a family out of poverty, and I will never forget that. My daddy ended up as a maintenance man. My mom kept working the minimum wage job. We saved our home, but there was no money for college. So I was one of those. I married at 19. I had babies early. I graduated from a commuter college that cost $50 a semester because I grew up in an America that was investing in its kids, that was investing in education. And when Amelia was a toddler, I had the idea of heading off to law school. I went to a public law school, and starting when she was 2, and every morning we would get up and we would put our backpacks on. We were buds, Amelia and I, and we would head out to conquer the world. And the book has lots of stories about this time. This is the time when I would pick her up every day from daycare, and we would tell the funny stories from our lives. She would tell the part about the little boy who smeared chocolate pudding in his hair, and I would tell about the professor who called on the coat in the back of the room. And so we were buds. So that's where I want to pick the story up. So one morning, when Amelia was little, she was sitting in a booster chair at the kitchen table eating cereal. I popped a few pieces of bread into our toaster oven, got busy doing 6 other things, and quickly forgot about the toast. When I saw smoke pouring out of the toaster oven, I grabbed the handle, pulled out the tray, exposing 4 slices of bread that were on fire, as in flaming up. Always a quick thinker, I screamed. And I threw the tray at the kitchen sink. 3 pieces of toast hit the target. The 4th went high, setting the cute little yellow curtains on fire. I screamed again. Then grabbed Amelia's cereal bowl and threw it at the burning curtains. The milk doused most of the fire, and I calmed down enough to realize that throwing